Roxo Media House.
From the Flying T Club studios here at Roxo Media House, this is Frogs Today. Baseball season comes to an end with a quarterfinal finish in the Big 12 tournament. Track and field sends 9 athletes to Eugene for the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships. Beach volleyball stars are Paris-bound, qualifying for the 2024 Summer Olympics.
It's Friday, May 31st, and I'm your host, Cade Bennett from TCU Football.
And I'm Cooper McDonald. We are transfers from San Diego State and are very excited to be wearing the purple next year. Welcome into this week's edition of Frogs Today.
Lots to get to as the summer is here. We are getting started with football. Baseball concluded their season, and we get reaction from head coach Kirk Saarloos. In men's golf, Gustav Frimodt is one of the newest members of the PGA Tour Americas Program.
In track, we catch up with head coach Cade Robinson and members of the team heading to Nationals in Eugene, along with beach volleyball stars representing their countries in Paris at the 2024 Summer Olympics.
Fort Worth has been good to us so far, and we are excited to be here. We will get you caught up with all that is going on at TCU Athletics when we return. We will be right back. Go Frogs!
We're lucky to have a collective that's as strong and as powerful as the Flying T Club. It's a big deal for us. It is a game changer. You know, I would just encourage any fans out there to support it. Everyone asks me, what's the biggest priority? And I say, NIL is big. Please jump on board, show these student athletes how much they mean to you. The thing about NIL is I think there's a right and a wrong way to do it, and the Flying T Club's do it the right way. Let's keep winning. Join the Flying T Club today.
Welcome back into the Flying T Club studio. I'm your host, Cade Bennett from TCU Football. Your 33-21 TCU baseball team was shocked when their name was left out of the NCAA Tournament on Monday. The team started the season 13-0 and continued in conference with a 14-16 mark heading into the Big 12 tournament, where they defeated number 4 West Virginia and eliminated number 6 Kansas State. Frogball USA won 10 of their last 16 games and improved in the RPI to number 39. Went 8-0 against the Pac-12 and 2-0 against DBU. Head coach Kirk Saarloos believes his team is one of the top 64 teams in the country and also to be comfortably in the tournament.
I knew this morning at about 4 a.m. when I got a text that it wasn't happening. Basically, it started last night, 7 o'clock, where things weren't trending in the right direction, and so just trying to get as much data information in terms of to get to that committee as possible for them to understand why we're a deserving team. I think we're one of the best 64 teams in the country. Peyton Tolley, Ben Abelt, now a starting pitcher. You got 2 left-handers that can beat anybody in the country. And we didn't have a person on the selection committee. That's what it came down to. We had 4. There was 4 bubble teams: Indiana, Coastal Carolina, Kansas State, and Florida. All 4 of them had athletic directors on the committee. They were all selected. But had 2 and 2 makes 4.
As Saarloos questions the selection committee and the criteria as it changes year to year, he agrees the selection is a tough task. Does RPI matter? What about strength of schedule? Some years they matter, and some years they don't matter as much.
My big thing is like, what's the criteria? What's the criteria for selecting a 64-team field? I know it's not easy, but we can't move the goalposts every year. Last year was all about RPI. This year was all about conference schedule, head-to-heads, and those types of things. I wish they would just come out and have the cojones enough to say, you know what, if you don't go 500 in your league, you're not getting in. If you're not in the top 40 in RPI, you're not getting in at large. But they won't do that. And that's my frustration, that we have to go in front of 35 kids and tell them, hey, you're not going to make it today. And when I think they deserve to. Yeah, I'm not going to say it isn't tough. I think it is tough. Every single year there's a team that feels like us, 3 or 4 or 5 different teams. So I'm not saying this is an easy thing. It's something that's, should be easy. I don't think it is, because there's a lot of deserving teams. When you have a field of 64, one of the last couple teams in it a couple years ago won the whole thing. And, so anybody can do that. And I think that's the big thing, is just get an opportunity to do it, and we're not going to be able to have that opportunity. And so anytime there's human element involved, there's going to be nitpicking of certain criterias and metrics that are in favor of another club than yours. And, there's enough handpicking of those metrics where we didn't measure up, I guess.
The committee didn't have any reasons for TCU not getting in. And for his players, What message did he have for them? And what was he most proud of from his ball club this season?
The thing is, you can look at it with any lens that you want and make it feel like you should have been in. You know, the 8th place team last year in our conference made the NCAA tournament, and we only had 9 teams in our conference last year. So, you know, in terms of where you fall in your conference, you know, it matters some years it doesn't. So when you go out and schedule, you know, RPI matters. And what this committee decided to do is that it didn't matter as much. You know, like we were held against it in 2022 of hosting a regional because we won the Big 12, but our RPI was too low. Well, the Arizona club won their conference and were 31 and had a great year, and they're hosting. So every year it's different in terms, and so we try to put a good schedule together for the RPI. You know, that's why we scheduled the way we did, but ultimately it wasn't enough. There's a lot of people that feel like they should be in. There's a couple teams that probably snuck in, and you know, there's a lot of coaches like myself right now that aren't happy, and are disappointed. Most, you know, for the players, disappointed that, you know, one thing is a lot of times when you don't make a regional, you kind of know you're not going to make a regional. So when you play your last conference tournament game, you know, you kind of know it's the end, you know. But when you feel like you're in comfortably, and then lose a ball game on Friday, you know, you have a bunch of guys. You have Curtis Byrne and Peyton Chatinier and Luke Boyers and guys that, you know, they play the last game on Friday. They didn't even know it, you know. And so that's the part that sucks. The part that sucks is the fact that these guys don't get the opportunity to go play and have a chance to go on a little bit of a run and get back to Omaha. You know? Yeah, there's not. I mean, that was my thing. There's not much to say, man. Like, sorry is probably the biggest. The term I use the most is because, like, I don't really have reasons for you. You know, I talked to people on the committee, and you know, they didn't quite have the reasons either. So that makes it even more difficult. Like, you know, finishing 9th in our conference didn't help. I think that was the biggest sticking point for the committee, is that we finished 9th in our conference. But again, it matters some years, and some years it doesn't. This year it mattered. And so that's kind of the point is you can't leave it up to a committee. Well, I think they loved each other. I think they really had each other's back and were there for one another in a lot of different ways. You know, you're going to remember the wins and those type of things, but you're also going to remember, you know, I think this group was really tight in terms of, you know, their love for one another and supporting one another and being there and showing up for each other. I think that's the biggest thing I'll remember, you know, from this club for sure.
In men's golf news, the Denmark native Gustav Frimodt made his mark at TCU and in NCAA golf. He looks to do the same as a professional golfer. Frimodt finished his college career in 20th place at the Austin Regional, a Ping All-Region team selection, Big 12 co-champion, Big 12 All-Tournament team, and now the newest member of the PGA Tour Americas, finishing 9th in the ranking, exempting him to the second stage of the 2024 PGA Tour Q School. We hope to see the Frimodt on the PGA links real soon. Congrats on your successful college career. My teammate Cooper McDonald will be back on the other side of this break to bring you track and field and beach volleyball.
Energy does everything for us. It's all-encompassing.
We're all benefiting and affected from it.
And it is something that we all need to know about.
It is the glue that holds everything together.
TCU is powering what matters, our future.
We don't just talk about what's needed, we focus on results.
The Ralph Lowe Energy Institute is creating a world where energy is affordable, sustainable, and reliable.
Welcome back in, Frog Nation, from the Flying T Club studios here at Roxo Media House in Clearfork. I'm Cooper McDonald and excited to bring you all our track and field news leading up to the NCAA National Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon, June 5th through the 8th. 9 TCU athletes are headed to Hayward Field after they punched their tickets last week at the NCAA West Regional in Fayetteville. We caught up with 2 of them as they prepared to bring home gold in the 2024 NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships. Senior Gracie Morris returns to the championships for the second time and will compete in the 1500 meter.
I mean, it's so rewarding. Like, it's exciting to, like, see all the work that you've put in the season pay off and, like, not let your season end there. Because, I mean, I wasn't ready to hang the jersey up for TCU yet. I wanted to finish my season at Eugene. But, I mean, overall, it's just so rewarding. Especially after last year with not making it. It was such a, like, it was so exciting just to be able to make it back.
14, 15.
And so far this season, like, I really, like, overcome, like, the mental side of running. Indoor, I was really struggling with anxiety. And it was to the point, like, where I was, like, about to start crying every race. And it was kind of affecting my performance. But I worked with the sports psychologist a lot here at the school. And I was really able to, like, kind of turn that fear back into excitement and, like, joy for the sport. And overall, like, I've just learned to love the sport again. So, I mean, the biggest thing is just, like, self-belief. I've been working on my confidence a lot and just kind of, like, trying to, like, believe that I am capable of doing it and I am one of those runners. So that's the biggest thing I've changed this season. I mean, other than consistency, and I've got 3 years of training under my belt now, so injury-free.
40, 41, 42, 43.
I mean, overall, the team, like, it's just held to, like, a lot higher of a standard than it has been in the past on the women's side. And, like, watching all the other ladies, like, do well and, like, make it to nationals, like, it just really pushes you. Like, okay, I have to do it too. Like, I know at the meet, like, I watched the two javelin girls, like, punch their ticket as I was, like, walking to the start line for my prelim. And I was, like, so excited for them. But it, like, also really just, like, encouraged me. I was like, I have to make it through this because, like, I got to join them at nationals.
Decathlon competitor Joel McFarland talked to us about his event, what his takeaways were from the season, and what to expect from him and his team as they wrap up the season in Eugene.
Yeah, I do the decathlon, the multi-event. So that's 10 track and field events. So it's spread over two days, 5 events each day. And it varies from sprinting, jumping and throwing. So in essence, we're trying to find the best all-round athlete. So you've got to be fast, but you've also got to be strong enough to throw the implements and then also be able to jump as well. So our training is very much geared to trying to create that all-round athlete. So we'll come out to the track and try to do about 3 events each day as well as some weight room stuff. It was great, yeah. I mean, we put in a lot of hours, everyone does, so it was really rewarding to feel that. I was excited, but also a bit of relief. I expect myself to be there, so I was very pleased to move on to the next stage and show what I can do there. I think the biggest thing was to just believe in yourself. I actually had not my best indoor season, and even leading up to conference, I still didn't have a mark for nationals, so I think it was just believing in what you're capable of, and then if you put in the work, it'll come through, so that's what eventually happened. The team, yeah, I think it's just the potential it has. It's still a very young team on the men's side. This is my last year, so I graduate, but I think it's going to be great to see these youngsters come up through the ranks and see what they can do in a few years' time. Ideally, just don't change any of the preparation. What I've been doing has clearly been working, so stick in the same stuff and try and get as sharp as possible. And then just going in, just try have an amazing meet. It's going to be my last college competition ever, so I may as well go out and leave it all there.
Head coach Cade Robinson is excited where his teams are and what he expects in Eugene, but also his biggest takeaway from this season.
Yeah, it's exciting because we have a full team. You know, we have individuals that are in sprints. We have individuals that are in multis and field events. We have individuals that's in javelin and like I said, middle distance, and of course the relay. So it's exciting to have a full team, a complete team. When you start talking about championships and team championships, this is the true reality of what we have going in. Most of these athletes, all of them really, they really worked hard all season. This started in August, so think about it. You have a goal in August, and you got to go through all these obstacles and hurdles to get to this place, and the athletes that persevere that's here now, it's about them, man. It's about seeing that they worked hard, they persevered, they had a focus, they believed in themselves and the coaches and the training and all those types of things, and here they are now. So it's fulfilling for the athletes more so because you know how much work they've put in and how focused they had to be. You know, I think these guys and gals are really excited. They're going to represent TCU. They're going to go there and give it their all. And hopefully, you know, I always tell people, like, you got to have fun. It's a sport. See, sometimes we forget about that. Sometimes we get so caught up in the results and trying to do well and all those types of things that we forget it's a sport to have fun. And you really have to embrace this. You have to enjoy the moment because, you know, man, you know, at one moment you're here in college enjoying it. You're young, fit, and in shape. And a couple of years later, you're like us, right? You're walking around the track and thinking, could I run this lap fast? So I really want the athletes to really enjoy themselves and just, you know, and give it their all. And I think they will. And, you know, I always tell them, them, this is the message I give all student athletes. I tell them, listen, we want you guys to win and break every record out there, but here's the reality. The reality is no matter how the results go, the sun's going to shine the next day. Your parents are going to still love you. Your family and friends are going to still love you. We're still going to support you no matter what. So, don't make it more than it has to be. You have this goal. You worked really hard and go for it. But at the end of the day, we're still going to be there for you. And I think, to be quite honest with you, that's the beauty of being at TCU, right? It's a family thing. And, yeah, we want individuals to do well. We want teams to do well. But it's not like if you don't do well, we're going to forget about you. It's like, you look at the national championship game last year for football, and it's like, okay, it didn't go our way, but man, they didn't lose anything. People were still there cheering them on. That's TCU, and I hope and I pray and I really tell everyone, like, that's when I'm recruiting. I say, man, you got to understand. You come here, you come in part of a family, something unique, something special. When I moved to California, there was still people, just cheering on me just because I was a Horned Frog. And I'm not to say this, maybe it's not like that everywhere else, but I'm telling you, you can come here and if you do well and if you perform well and you hold up the standards that TCU has, we're going to be lifelong family and supporters and fans of you for life. For life, whether you win the national championship or not, and that's what I like about it. Anybody that comes back, that's why, you got coaches like myself and Roditi who just won a national championship with tennis, and you got, Jamie Dixon who we all went here, right? And we all know that feeling. And this is one thing we hoping and wishing and praying that our student athletes can get a feeling of and understand that, yeah, you guys are doing extremely well, and that's great. But either way, win, lose, or draw, you're a Horned Frog. We're going to be with you for life.
Irene Jenkimboy and Marie Benvino both qualified in women's javelin. Also combined on the men's and women's side, we have 7 sprinters that earned their rights to compete for gold next week, and the confidence is at an all-time high right now, as we were able to visit with most of them as they are locked in and focused.
It honestly feels great. I mean, not everybody has a chance to say that they're going to the national meet. I mean, everybody's have been, if you look at the times, everybody has been running pretty fast, running 42 low. So just the fact that we've been consistent all year, even with changes in our relay, I'm pretty confident in the fact that we're going to go there and do pretty good.
I mean, I feel good. Like, I always told myself, like, from the beginning, like, I didn't think I was going to make it that far. But I was like, the farther I got, I was like, I didn't come here for no reason. Like, I got to show everyone why I'm here.
I'm very excited. It's my last year. It's my first year going to nationals, so, by any means necessary, as some of the coaches say, you got to get there. So I'm very excited, and I look forward to it. And coming in, like, having only, 2 years here, and just getting here and making it to nationals, that's the goal. I really had nothing to lose my last year. So the goal coming in was just have fun, also be competitive at the same time, build a connection with all these wonderful ladies and men. And just make it there. And we've done it. Everything has come together, so I'm truly excited.
It felt so good. I mean, like I said, we've been through a lot of changes this year, and just to know that we were able to do what we needed to do at that time during that moment, it felt amazing. Like I said, there are a lot of other teams that ran fast, but I know that we have the chance to do good things as long as we just stay positive. And like Coach Egger says, the work is already done. We just need to go out there and just execute.
But I was like, I really did it. Like, I was so excited because like my 100, it didn't go how I wanted it to go. So I was like, no tears today. I'm going to get it right now. Like, I'm going to go how I can.
One of the biggest things I'll say is our connection that we've made. Even though we all don't practice together, from the jumpers to the sprinters to the throwers, we all have this bond. And no matter where we are, if we're still at home or if we're still here, we're cheering each other on. If they're already done with their season, they're still like texting us good messages, wishing us luck. I know for the regionals meet, I had a lot of people from that didn't make it here to regionals that were texting me, sending me luck, and it's just the bond that we've all built as a women's team that has made us grow stronger together.
Having someone to push me, like from the coaching side and from like teammate side, it just helped me be able to be like, oh, all these people, like it's nothing. Like I got this. Like I trained with someone good, have a good coach pushing me, and that's just like, it'll show out on the track.
Coming from such a small town, Cullen, Louisiana, and being out here on the big stage, that is my biggest takeaway. You know, putting God first, having my supporters, my family, my friends, coaches, just to help me get to this moment. And I'll say, you know, I've accomplished a lot over the years, and that is truly my biggest takeaway because, you know, the younger me would be very proud and excited to have it for me right now because, you know, I come from, you know, having just me practicing sometimes in high school or just a select few. But I come out here, Power 5 school, making it to nationals. I can say I've done a lot and accomplished a lot.
It's going to take a lot of hard work, dedication. The biggest thing is going to be fall training, just putting in all that work there, putting in all my coins in my bank account so that way during I get to the season, I'm not having to worry about, oh, I didn't do this, do that. It's already there. I just have to execute and do what I do on the track every weekend.
If I have a bad meet and someone else have a good meet, that meet, it's just a matter of watching film, looking what I did wrong, going back, did I get enough sleep, did I eat right, did I do this right, how I was training that week. So it's just a matter of putting it all together at the right time because we're all training to peak at a certain moment. And so, of course, we would hope that it comes in at conference and regionals during those times. And then, of course, nationals.
I think just knowing that the best of the best is going to be there and just seeing the competition field. I mean, like I said, we're going to be seeing some of the best throwers, the best jumpers, the best sprinters in the nation. So just being able to see that in person, full face, is going to be amazing. Not to mention at one of the greatest stadiums in the world.
Ayana Gray will compete in 3 events, the most of any TCU athlete at the event, in the 100-meter, 200-meter, and the 4x100 meter with teammates Tiana Harlan, Michaela Hayes, and Juana Washington. Harlan will also run the 200-meter.
It's just a sense of relief every time I go to the next race. Like, okay, I've got this one. Okay, I got this one. And then when I went into my last one, I was like, all right, one more to go. It feels really good because my first time I went to the national meet, it was 2 years ago, my freshman year, and I'm just glad I get another chance. And this time I'm in 3 events. It's really honestly about just staying focused and being patient and trusting my coach. Sometimes it's a good day, sometimes it's a okay day, even though for other people it might seem like it's always a good day for me, but I'm always putting myself on a higher pedestal than everybody else. So when I PR, I want to PR again. When I punched my ticket, I still didn't win my heat, so I was still upset. So my mindset is just to go in there, just like I did the first rounds at regionals, have the same mindset as get the big Q and make it to the next round. Well, the goal is not to do anything different because the same thing that got me to this meet is the same thing that's going to get me to the next round. So nothing different. It's just the keeping my composure and just trying to get to the line first before anyone else in my heat. As a team, we're really putting a name out there for TCU, especially as women. We have a lot of new people coming in, so it just really sets a standard so everybody can know, like, this is the standard for TCU, and we're not a team to be played with.
On the men's side, Cashy Crockett will be running the 200-meter. He ran a PR of 20.47 to punch his ticket to the NCAAs.
Outdoor, my first meet, my first 200 of the season, I ran the regional qualifier time. So at that point on, we knew that I was already have a ticket to regionals. And so from there, we was able to work hard in practice and go to meets, not having to be the freshest so I can still train through meets to get me to this point. And then conference came, and then the meet before conference, I ran not my best races, but I think those races were necessary because they showed me what I was doing wrong. So now I was able to fix them. So when I got to regionals, I was able to do them right. But being able to run that regional qualifier time earlier in the season allowed me to make mistakes through the season and fix them so when the time came, I was able to succeed. And then holding the gold medal was always great because at the end of the day, you won. But a lot of people hold gold medals, but only 24 people around the nation get to hold a ticket. So being to hold a ticket was just something special. Because my coach always told me since I got here, he was like, if you just trust the process and not overthink and not do this, not do that, you'll be able to get to where you want to be. And sometimes it seemed like I low-key put too much pressure on myself to try to fix all the small things or do everything right when at the end of the day, that wasn't necessary. Like Coach Cade always says, the way you do anything is the way you do all things. And so it's not always about who's the best. It's always about who trains the hardest, who does all the little things right, and that's what will get you to the next level. The biggest I'm looking forward to is actually like this. I've been there before my freshman year for another trial, and I went there and I was just a kid that was happy to be there. And so no matter what the results were, I was happy. I didn't run my best, but now going here, it feels like I actually belong here, and I feel like I can compete with anybody. So actually going there to compete and not to just be there is what I'm most looking forward to.
Robinson believes his teams have overachieved and happy about what the future holds for his teams.
At the beginning of the season, we did have expectations for some kids. We thought Gracie would do really well. She did well last year. She's done well since she's been here. We thought Ayana would do really, really well. So those two we thought would do well. We have a lot of new participants in. If you look at the people that made nationals on the men's side, Cassie and Joel, they're both new to the program. And then we have a freshman, Tiana, made it in the 200, and of course our 4x1, which is pretty much new individuals. So my point is, we was kind of surprised with the new people coming in and doing really, really well. But with some, we thought they could do extremely well. So all in all, we're really excited because I found myself getting greedy. I had some freshman girls and some relays and stuff that ran ridiculously well this year. And so then I started being like, oh, maybe we can, and I started getting excited about that. And then, when things didn't necessarily always work out our way, I was kind of upset, and I had to go back and reevaluate and say, hold on now. They by far exceeded your expectations when they first came and when the season started. So, don't lose track of the development, don't lose track on what the goals were when they first got here. So,
moving on to beach volleyball, TCU standouts Daniela Alvarez and Tanya Moreno have qualified for the 2024 Summer Olympic Games and will represent Spain this summer in Paris. We are excited to be joined by head coach Hector Gutierrez right now. How are you doing, Coach?
Good. Thank you for having me today. I'm doing great.
Congrats on another great season. That is something to be proud of, finishing in the top 10 again, but also you have a duo that are the first Olympians in program history.
Yes. Yeah, for us and for many. I think only one school has that, but only one player. That was USC a few years ago, but they only have one player from Latvia that went to the Olympics and came back. But we're the first school in the whole NCAA who has two players that are going to go to the Olympics and ever. So that's really something really, really good for us, and we feel really proud that we have that caliber athletes in our squad, no doubt.
Alvarez and Moreno are coming off one of the best performances of their career as they placed 4th overall at the Volleyball World Beach Pro Tour Elite 16. How good is this duo?
Yeah, they have. I mean, obviously they're going to the Olympics, so they're pretty good. Just think about they're like barely 22 years old. It's like they're still on the developed career of beach volleyball. They're starting right now. They're starting with us here at TCU, and they were 18. And of course now is when they're really starting playing. You said representing the country a full time since they take the year off. And they just finished 4th on one of the biggest tournaments of the year, which only 16 teams in the main draw, that means only the 16 best can play, and they finished 4th, and they went all the way to the semifinal from the qualification. So that was a really good tournament for them, and as I said, you grow as the season goes, and that's one of the things that we have seen with those two. Of course, they needed time to compete against people they've been competing on the tour for 10 plus years, and pretty much this is the first year they compete full time on the professional tour representing the country, and it's being awesome, seeing how great they're doing and how much they have grown the last year, to be honest.
I guess the last question I have is, how excited are you to get these girls back on your team next year, and how is that shaping up?
I mean, it's amazing. We talked about it before they took the year off. Well, Daniela is different. Daniela already graduated. She could easily say, hey, I'm done, I'm not coming back. She got the COVID year still because she was one of the class was impacted by COVID in 2019. Tanya is different. Tanya didn't finish the undergrad, so she needs to come back, to finish. But after talking to them before they decided to take the year off, they were thinking on, hey, you think we can do both, at the same time? Or they were kind of trying to do both at the same time, being in college and trying to qualify. And we kind of discussed that I think it's better if you just stop from college for a year and just go and do it right. And But both coming back is great because they want to win, and they say, hey, we're gonna try this Olympic. We're gonna come back because we want to win a national championship, and that's awesome because they're excited about it. They just don't want to come back to come back. They just want to come back to win. And having that caliber of athletes, like, I mean, once again, we're gonna be the only school in the country to have 2 Olympians in the squad, and no one had that before. And with that being said, we have a lot of good people coming in, a lot of good returners. So we're really excited about next season.
Thanks, Coach, for joining the show, and we wish the girls good luck. Have a great summer, and we will be watching. The Summer Olympics will be exciting for sure, and we are excited to see what beach volleyball has in store for us next year. We will be right back to wrap up the show.
Welcome to the Squire Shop.
We are locally owned and operated since 1994.
We specialize in the finest men's clothing that the market has to offer at affordable prices with unbelievable service.
We do custom clothing all the way to more casual, Peter Millar, Johnny O, kind of everything. Well, my dad's the owner, so I've been around retail my whole life. Oh, it's great. I mean, it's the best boss I'll ever have. I know that.
We love our TCU community. They have been so good to us. Come see us today. Go Frogs!
Welcome back in, Frog Nation. We wish our track team the best of luck next week in Eugene.
Summer football starts next week. We will be in the weight room, running, and preparing for fall camp. We had fun today hosting Frogs Today.
Can't wait to get in the Carter next year. For TCU football, all of us at Frogs Today and Roxo Media House, I'm Cade Bennett.
And I'm Cooper McDonald. Thanks for watching. See you next week.
Go Frogs!
Roxo Media House.